Hello and welcome back to Olivia's Mindful Gardens and Plants. Here we are on the May tour. It's 7 o'clock in the evening and it's beautiful. Still some sun on my west facing wall, so I thought it'd be a good day to do the May tour. So we start off at the pond. We have the Aquilegias here, which has grown really tall. The variegated one next to it is doing quite well, still small. On this bed here, or in this bed, I have some peonies. These ones are just going to spring open. I love this peony here, but of course we've had some rain, so it is actually all the petals are starting to fall. There are some still left unopened, so I'm sure the blooms will continue for a while longer. Nice alliums. Okay, so this is the back of my garden on the decked area, and this is where I keep all my hostas, which are looking beautiful. I do use pellets for slugs and snails in my pots. There's very little risk that a hedgehog would come up and eat the dead slugs and snails that accumulate on the pots, but I'm pleased to say, because they're up on the deck, the plants, the slugs and snails don't appear to come up this high. However, in the past I have had slugs and snails almost in desperation at the end of summer, eating as much of my hostas as possible. My big tip really is just housekeeping. So I often move all my pots. I really check them over to make sure that there's nothing hiding, ready to munch the beautiful leaves. The best time to really tackle the slugs and snails is at dusk, or very late in the evening before sunset, where it's been raining, and I often find that they obviously just come out to eat, and of course I pick them up and then dispose of those. It's a task to do that, but I think it's well worth it because the hostas are still looking absolutely beautiful. Okay, next to them are my Musabasiu and the Anseti, and also a Canna, and they're all looking beautiful. They've been out now for 2 weeks. They acclimatized in and out of the house for a long while, but now they're safely outside. So this section here, I do have some hostas. Again, it's on a bench which I've recently painted, and this is up high. I have to top up, I think, with some pellets, as I gave this a little bit of a tidy up recently and haven't put pellets back on. Those of you who have joined me on previous videos, you will know that I have a north-facing garden. This section here, right by the house, only gets early morning sun and late evening sun. This is as much sun as it's getting in the evening, but that's fine because it's just my hostas and my ferns in this section. I've also got my Cleopatra, my Canna Cleopatra here, just for a little while I decide where I am putting it. It doesn't look great, but it does have a lot of new shoots coming out. There's one here, and of course this is a new leaf coming through, and some new growth here as well. So that's not looking too bad, or promising that it will jump back to life. Also here I have this self-seeded Acer, which is doing really well. And next to it I have another Acer that was given to me as a gift as a mini bonsai. So that's new to me. This is the second summer that I have it. So again, looking really pretty. I've had to cut back my Dicentra. A cat came along and decided to sit here, so I've cut it back. It's actually displaying a bit of new growth. My canna lily, oops, let me move. My canna lily is just starting to open up some flowers. Here. I have my begonias here in pots, again doing really well. The last project I posted a couple of weeks ago was my budget bird bath. I have added these sticks here so that the birds can perch in order to survey the area before taking a drink. Still looking really nice and clean. I will have to keep my eye on it and regularly empty the water and refill. This is again a Dicentra here, just starting to fade. It's a Dicentra luxuriant. I have here in this bed a lot of phlox. All of these are white phlox, and because it's quite a dark area of the garden, when the white phlox comes out it does look really beautiful. My rhododendrons, which were a Mother's Day present, looking beautiful. I absolutely adore this colour. I don't have much peach colours in my garden, so I think I'm going to explore a lot more plants of this sort of tone. Really beautiful. And the pink ones, of course, I love lots of pink. So this section here, I've got some phyllotrums, a white cloud, which is starting to open up, and another phyllottrum, purple stockings, really beautiful. I have to, once it stops flowering and dies back, it needs to be pushed right back towards the fence because there's a big gap behind. I do have growing here some animes, I can't say the word, I'll put it up, which is growing at the back, but that takes a long time to get to the same height, and I don't think I'm going to be able to see them because the phyllottrum will be much taller. I've got a gap here waiting for my cosmos to go in and some other plants. I'm looking forward to seeing this hydrangea. It's new to the garden. I bought it in February. It's filling up nicely. It is called Hydrangea Daredevil. So let's see what that looks like in a couple of weeks. I have quite a few foxgloves which I allow to self-seed, and once they get big and if they're not where I want them to be, I will just dig them up and place them where I want them. So they take so easily in my garden and it's an absolute joy. I love anything free, and foxgloves are more than welcome to freely disperse around my garden as much as they like. This rose, still yet to open, is the Gentle Hermione, doing really well. I've managed to, but you can't see it at the moment, have growing in between a clematis. I love the combination of a rose and a clematis, so I'm looking forward to seeing if that turns out well. Next to it is the Olivia Austin. I have had a rose, now that's faded, but I've got lots of buds growing now here. Now I've lost the label for this plant. Last year it didn't flower at all. It was in a different position. It was on the east wall, so now this is on the west, and it's doing a lot better and it started to flower. I'll have a look up to see what that one is called and put it on screen. This is a Princess Anne, David Austin Princess Anne. Really big bloom. Lots of buds coming. The Queen of Sweden has yet to put on any display, but I think that's a later one. Again, looking really good. Some more foxgloves. Lovely Aquilegia. This one is lovely. Look. Again, self-seeded. And there's lots of little seedlings here which I will leave alone, and they will hopefully be blooming next year. This is my latest addition, a Salvia Love and Kisses. No, Love and Wishes, that's right, Love and Wishes. There we are. Another salvia that's starting to open up here. That did really well this winter. I just cut it right back and it's done really well. I have some heucheras in this pot. They weren't looking very good over the winter, but I've potted them up in individual pots and given them lots of feed. They're doing well. Here is my other Olivia Austin, of David Austin roses, looking beautiful. Another big bloom. That's how they start, like that, and then they open up like this here. Beautiful. Some lovely hanging pots, all the bedding plants that I had. My greenhouse, lots of things still in pots ready to go out. Now I'm hesitant to put out these clomie. These are pink and I have some white ones. These were from my own seeds because I've had these growing in my garden for a while. I grew them from early February. This is the size that they are now. If I were to plant these out now, I think the slugs and snails will absolutely devour them. So I'm going to wait as long as possible to keep them in these pots and just feed them, and hopefully they'll grow a little bit taller. And then I'll slowly put them out into the border. But slugs do love them, but they are absolutely beautiful. So I've got pink and white. I've got all my Cosmos cupcake, and then this one is fuzzy pink, and then I've got some other ones in another location. Cucumbers, pumpkins, other seeds. I can't remember. I think they may be zinnias, perhaps. I think zinnias there. I have lots of things growing here. Gladiolus that I planted up, all have opened up bar one. So that's not bad. I think I had 15 and then I lost maybe 5, so 10. So there's some here and some I've already put in pots. I have hung up some pots here from this, well, I built this myself. Here it's some raised beds, and I put posts, and so that I'd have somewhere for my clematis, not my for my clematis to grow up, but also my wisteria. Lots of a big fan of fuchsias. This rose is the Gertrude Jekyll. I'm growing it as a climber, or a small climber here. This heuchera is looking beautiful. The little flowers are just starting to open up. And this is another pretty Aquilegia. Again, self-seeded. I've just been harvesting the seeds and replanting and leaving them. Now, I've got a lovely pink geum here. This is its first season. I only planted it probably 6 weeks ago. It's looking nice there. And the rose here is another David Austin, a whiter shade of pale. Again, it's more of a classic rose. Beautiful smell. I think I'm a bit obsessed with pink roses. All shades. Here's another Aquilegia. I think I've been quite lucky to have lots of different colours and styles here. Hanging baskets, which I did a video on those, looking really beautiful. And there's the other one. Got a hydrangea paniculata, which of course I've cut hard back. It's just starting to spring alive now. Lots of nice new growth. This rose is a Rachel's Joy. Really beautiful. It's a Peter Beals rose. Rachel's Joy. Lots and lots of buds. This is its first summer. So I bought this last summer, planted it up. I think I bought it at the end of May actually, so this is the second summer. I bought it at the Chelsea Flower Show. I couldn't resist, and here it is, looking absolutely beautiful, and probably doubled in size, I think. So planted last May, so a year. Really beautiful, highly recommended. And I have this Aquilegia here. Now this one is not self-seeded. I actually planted this one. So I'm hoping to gather some of the seeds to establish in the rest of the garden. There's a second one that I bought. Now this is a campanula. Really unusual when I saw it. It starts off at deep purple, and then it grows and becomes lighter. It's like a tube. Really beautiful. Next to it is a Astrantia. Again, I love green, and so white with the green edges. Really beautiful. I'll have to kind of stake this area, I think, because everything's leaning into the sun, because I have a large cherry tree here and my neighbour's trees are all coming over the fence. So I think naturally the plants grow outwards to try and get as much sun as possible. I may eventually have to be polite and ask my neighbour if they'd mind if I cut back some of their branches. All my rose cuttings here. Now I had labelled most of these, but as usual the labels either disappear or they fade. But once the buds open, I'll be able to tell which they are. But I think I've had quite a lot of success. All these pots have roses. so rose cuttings. I have a lace cap hydrangea here. Now I have moved this several times in my garden from different locations. It's, I think, happiest here on the east wall, so it doesn't get huge amounts of sun, but it's absolutely loving being here. In fact, I've cut it back several times and I do have something holding it away from the edge here, and I'll have to cut it back hard, I think, for next season. So once the blooms have finished, I'll probably cut it by half, just to keep it happy. I often leave trays of soil every so often around, and here is a classic example of self-seeding. So I have some aces here. Again, I've literally done nothing, just left the compost. So there's a couple there, and also some Aquilegia. And I think that would have come from the Aquilegia that I have here. So it may be pink or it may be purple, I'm not sure. Got quite a few brunneras. That's Jack Frost. I have my Spotty Dotty here. Again, the Aquilegia, really pretty. I quite like this combination of the purple and the pink together. Looks really pretty. So I'm getting shadier and shadier as I go along. I have some more brunneras here, different types. One is a looking glass, brunnera looking glass. Again, lots of ferns, so this area is mostly in the shade. Lots of compost to go up to my allotment, so compost from pots, some cuttings and so on in here, again going up to the allotment. And another pot with some aces and one seedling of Aquilegia. Okay, in this box here I have some cosmos, really doing well, really pleased with these ones, really strong and hardy. I have clipped off the tops so that they become a bit bushier. One of my subscribers kindly reminded me to clip the tops, so I have, and they have come back much bushier, stronger. I have some Salvia amnestad cuttings here, which are doing really well. Pink Callia, which is taking a long time to grow because I planted these quite some time ago, planted the bulbs, but they're coming along. Lots of tomato plants which need to go up to my allotment to be planted out soon. I have bought some herbs. I have a project coming up soon about how different ways to plant herbs, so look out for that video. This is my fern bed. I'm going to have to do a bit of a clear out here because this anemone, sorry I cannot say that word, I will put it up on the screen, is quite a fug and it's just spread and spread and spread. So I have to really remove it because it is just taking over this whole section. I also have it here, but it's contained in this raised bed. I've recently planted some new ferns here. They came from 5-litre pots, so well established big plants. Shuttlecock fern at the end and another shuttlecock fern at this end, and then an ostrich fern in the middle. I'm not overly taken with the scheme because you can't really tell them too much apart until you look closely at the leaves, when clearly you can see there is a difference. So the ostrich fern is a wider leaf, fronds, and then the shuttlecock fern is slightly slimmer. I just think that they're drowning each other out, so I think I'm going to take out the ostrich fern in the middle, or maybe take out one shuttlecock fern so that you can clearly see the difference. Some more peonies here. This one has come off now, spent. One left. Again, I think this is just taking over and drowning that out, so I may leave this on its own here because it's beautiful in the autumn when all of the flowers, pink flowers, come out, but I think that's becoming unhappier because I've only had two buds on that peony. I have some more peonies here. This one, quite happy. This one has never given me any blooms, so I'm going to do a bit of experiment with this one here, and also my tree peony, which I've shown you on a previous video that again hasn't done very well. I've got a tigrella here, beautiful. Again, it's now fading. I think I've got a photo of what it looked like a couple of weeks ago. Really, really beautiful. Happy here, mostly in the shade. Okay, so last but not least, I have all my pots set up here. So this section here is the sunniest part of my deck. I know I am north facing, but this bit actually gets most of the sun during the day in the summer, so my plants here are mostly sun loving, so they like to be in the sun. And this is the colour of the dahlia. So you'll all recall, those of you who have watched previous videos on my dahlias, this one was the biggest tuber clump that I had from last year, and I wasn't sure the name of this dahlia, so I've waited for it to open, and this is what it is, and I shall find out the name of this particular dahlia. If anyone knows, please do put it in the comment to correct me if I'm wrong, but I will look it up. Once the flowers die back, there's a few buds, I will cut down to here because you can see there are some side shoots growing, so this will be a good point to cut. These dahlias are new. I've recently purchased. Now, the person I spoke to who was selling these at my allotment said that to put well rotted manure at the base because they are super hungry and they're going to need a lot of energy to grow. So I have put half a pot of manure and half a pot of compost. So I'm going to compare these ones, which are a tall white, with the other ones that have had some compost and some fertilizer but not stable manure. So I'll be interested to see how that turns out. Okay, so we've come to the end of the May tour. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do subscribe so that you're notified of my future videos. Take care now. Bye.